Hi, I'm Marie. I'm 21. I've been riding since I was 8 or 9 years old. I was introduced to horses when I was very young. I took lessons all the way through until I was 12 or 13, I want to say. And then when I was 13 years old, my parents got involved, specifically my dad, got involved with a private horse rescue for gaited horses. So 7 years ago, I was introduced to gaited horses, and we ended up volunteering at the rescue quite a bit. I got my first horse from there. My brother got his first horse, and my dad went through a couple different horses that he leased and he was trying out, and he was trying to find one for him. Eventually, he ended up finding this really cute little tiny pony, black and white Paso pony. Her name was Lily. She was awesome. We had her for, I want to say like 6 months, and then she ended up having a crazy out of the blue accident in her paddock overnight. She damaged her, I want to say her spinal column or her spinal cord. She damaged something, and she had to be put down really suddenly. And that was our only experience with Pasafinos. She was lovely. She was a saint. You could do anything to her. You could take her anywhere. Anyone could ride her. She was sweet. So a little while later, my dad was online looking at auctions, and he found in Cranberry, I want to say it was Cranberry, New Jersey, he found this little tiny bay gelding Pasafino. Super cute. They had a video of him being ridden. He seemed super smooth, small. So he decided to rescue him and adopt him. I want to say that he cost us, don't do anything dumb. I want to say that he cost us like $400 maybe. And when they went to pick him up, the person in charge of the auction literally was like, "Good luck with this one. Like, have fun with that. Good luck." He came to us super sick. He was terrified of people, like shaking, getting off the trailer. Super malnourished. He had a fever of like 103 or 104. He had shipping fever, which over the next couple days progressed. He was in quarantine, obviously. Progressed. He ended up getting a fever of like 105 point something. You're insane. Got out of quarantine, but even when he wasn't sick anymore, he was just so depressed. He wanted, of all the rescue horses we've ever gotten, they're always, even if they're timid of people, they're really excited to see other horses, and he didn't want anything to do with it. He did not want to see other horses. He did not want to smell other horses. He wanted to do nothing but hide in the back of his, he had a small run out off his stall. All he wanted to do was hide. You would touch him and he would shake. You couldn't catch him unless he was in the stall. Even then, it took a very long time. So I left the picture after 3 months, maybe 2 months. So he was only just really like getting healthy at that point, and my dad suffered a lot of health issues, and he couldn't really do anything with him. He couldn't chase him, he couldn't catch him. His hips and his knees were bad. He couldn't really walk to go get him or see him. So he kept him healthy, but he basically was just turned out into a field and kind of left there, except for like once, maybe twice a year, he would get sedated and have medical stuff done to him, but that was it. You couldn't catch him, you couldn't get within 20 feet of him. If you walked towards the gate of the field that he was in, he would take off running. Even if you weren't coming to get him, you weren't paying attention to him, didn't matter. He would just run like the back fence, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to get away from you. And that went on for 3 years, roughly 3 years, I want to say. He moved twice, but he was always same thing, kind of just left with a stall and a run out, not being handled, getting more afraid of people, regressing back to arguably worse than he was when we first got him. So 3 years pass, which would be this past May, which is currently March 2020, so this is May 2019. And my dad had been asking me over the past couple of years, once I was back in the picture, if I would go see him, if I would work with him, if I would do things with him. So I saw him once or twice over those 3 years. I would go out and I couldn't get close to him, so I would just look at him. just check on him. That was kind of it. Didn't really have any drive or any motivation or any intent to do anything with him ever, because he is so explosive and reactive and hard to deal with, even for me. And then this past spring, I decided that enough was enough. My dad's health had gone really downhill at that point. He's much better now, but his health had gone really downhill. And he basically approached me and he was like, you know, if anything ever happens to me, no one else is gonna take this horse. No one else has any idea what to do with him. You can't sell him because he's not halter broke, basically. He's sassy, he's kind of a jerk. And he's so terrified of people. So he approached me and he was like, you know, if anything happens to me, he's gotta go to you. You have to be the one to take him. So I said, okay. On one condition, if I can train him how I want to train him, I will work with him. But I'm not going to do it if you're over my shoulder telling me how to do everything every single step of the way. It's not worth it. We used to fight, my dad and I, nonstop about horse stuff. Like, we would argue for weeks at a time, because I had my horse and then my brother had a horse and then he would lease things out and all three of us did things differently and we would just fight and bicker nonstop about it. So he agreed. It took me 2 weeks to get this horse out of the field and into a stall. And then I think after that, it took me probably another 2 weeks before he would let me walk up and touch him. So the first 2 weeks I spent in the stall and I would literally walk in the stall and he would shake like this and he would like sit on the ground and he would snort and he would freak out. And if you like turned your back to him, and were like leaning over the stall wall, playing on your phone, ignoring him, he would be freaking out, trying to climb the walls behind you, trying to get away from you. If you showed him a brush, he would like rear and try to like climb at the walls. If you jingled a halter at him, he would like literally drop his butt on the ground and shake and snort and blow and lose his little mind. So I spent a long time just going in the stall, hiding in the corner and waiting for him to calm down. And then, so it was like a month before I could even walk up and set a halter on his back or walk up and have him smell a halter and lead rope. And then even when I could start haltering him, it would take me probably an hour to get a halter on him because he's so head shy, or he was so head shy and so ear shy. If you even like came close to his face, he would rear and back up. He would never kick, he would never threaten to bite, anything like that. He wouldn't hip check you, nothing like that, but he would just rear and try to bolt away from you as much as he could. So it would take an hour to get the halter on, and then even taking the halter off, like reaching anywhere by his neck would freak him out. So that would be like another like 30 to 40 minute process. So it took almost 2 hours just to go in, say hi to him, put a halter on, maybe walk him around for 10 minutes and then put him back and take the halter off. And I did that for almost 2 months and it was all I could do. And there were many times in that I was like, this is pointless. He's never gonna change. Like the damage is too much. He's had too much done to him. He's been left alone for too long. Psycho. He's just too far gone. Like nothing, you can't do anything with him. Thank God he's tiny. But I don't know, there's just something about him, and I didn't want to give up before I gave him like a really good, solid chance. So I said, okay, I'll give him 3 months. And if at the end of 3 months he's made no progress, then I give up and it's not worth it. Because I don't want to get hurt. I don't want him to freak out and then hurt himself trying to get away from me. I obviously don't want to cause any damage to the barn, and I obviously don't want to make him any worse than he already is. And it took just about 3 months to see any type of progress. After about 3 months, I think I could put a halter on him relatively okay and walk him around and like maybe soft brush him. He didn't no idea what picking up his feet was. He had no idea what brushes were. He did at one point, but he had just gone so far back. So it was just months of sacking out, months of putting on a halter, taking it off, putting it on. Like I would stand there for 15 minutes and just take the halter on and off. I would stand there for 15 minutes and literally walk up to him and touch him with a brush and then like walk away like 10 feet. It'd be like, oh my God, you're the best boy ever. Because he would literally sit on the ground and then shoot straight in the air, break cross ties, and then try to bolt away. There were times where if you even like moved your hand down like you were gonna touch the front of his leg, he would just jump and leave. Or if you were lunging him, when I first put him on a lunge line, he would just bolt and bolt and bolt and bolt. And then he would get scared of something and then he would bolt and he would drag me across an entire arena, which is not fun. I got so much rope burn, even with gloves on. But he never at any point was mean about it. He never tried to bite me. He never tried to hip check me. He never tried to slam me. He never tried to run over me. He never threatened to kick me, nothing like that. Like you could have a pan of sweet feed in your hand and he would be hiding on the other side of the stall or the other side of the paddock, it didn't matter. So I will say he was never, ever, ever mean. That is his one saving grace, and he does make progress. It's just taken, let's see, that was in May of last year, and right now it's March. So you do the math on, it's taken almost a whole year for me to get him halter broke. He lunges, you can groom him, he'll pick up his front feet to be picked out. This past week, I'm really proud of him. He started letting me pick up his hind legs. I cannot pick them out yet because the brush noises scare him, but I can pick them up and hold them and like move them a little bit and like pull on them and tug on them and he doesn't freak out. That used to be like if you so much as like put your hand from his back, like the saddle area, and moved it like 3 inches, he would sit and like leave. You're a psycho. He has plenty of energy and he does never, ever, ever gets tired, ever, in his entire life. Hi, Farley. You know, he's at my workplace now. I can actually bring him in public places without fear that he will take off and drag me and like disrupt everyone else. Hi, what are you guys doing? I don't know if the camera can see him or not. Not this child that I'm patting, but that's the in question pony, who's very cute. Come here, Farley. I mean, Farley's really cute too, but he's very cute and he's very tiny. He is like the little munchkin mini of the barn. But I'm hoping in the next couple of months I'll have him under saddle finally. It's taken almost a year to even get to the point that he is even sort of okay with it. This year is just to get him under saddle. He's had the saddle on him and I've started sacking him out to me putting my foot in the stirrup and putting weight in the stirrup and like hopping after him, and I've started sacking him out to like, one of his biggest triggers has always been things or people above him, which is not hard to do since he's like yay big. He's tiny. He's tiny, so if you would so much as if you were standing like this next to him and you went like this, he would freak out and he would bolt. He was so afraid of even like the motion of I'm gonna maybe think about getting on you. He would just take off and bolt like through the whole arena and it didn't matter if you were hanging on or not. So that's really the big one. Like he's okay with bridling, he's okay with being saddled and groomed. I've walked him on trails, like hand walking. He's totally bomb-proof on trail without a rider on. But it's really just sacking him out and getting me on him. I don't care if by December the only thing I've done is sit on him and walk 3 steps. That's good enough.
What are you hoping to do with the video recording?
See the progress, track the progress for sure. Because I had a bunch of video of him when I first started working with him, and then I deleted everything because it was so embarrassing and he was so over the top that I didn't think I could ever show anyone that footage without being horrifically judged. So I don't have anything to track the progress, so this would be great so that I can actually see some improvement and see what we started at, because 2 years from now he might be like an awesome saddle horse and he might be an amazing trail horse, and I can look back at this and be like, huh, remember when I couldn't even jump next to him? It's good. It's a good little, puts it in perspective. But sometimes it kind of feels like fighting a losing fight because he basically has horse PTSD. He's an abuse survivor. This horse was horrifically abused and he's terrified of everything. So he will have a lot of progress and he'll go really, really good and he'll make so much progress and then he'll go back a little bit and then he'll make so much progress and then he'll go back a little bit. So at the moment we're on an uphill trajectory, but it's always Every time he goes back a little bit, it is frustrating. I can't get mad at him. It's not his fault. But it is frustrating for me, and I'm like, oh, I don't feel like we're going anywhere. I feel like we've been stuck like we could, yeah. I feel like we've been stuck doing the same things over and over again. We're not making any progress. So when I have stuff to look back on, it does help. Because it's like, well, no, actually, you're making tons of progress. Hi, I don't have a cookie for you. But even that, like, he wouldn't do that 4 months ago. Like, 4 months ago, he would be hiding at the other end of the arena, and I would have to go in there and get him and like chase him around. Not really chase him, but I would have to go walk after him for a minute before he would let me get him, and now he just comes up. Like, he came up to the camera earlier and he was within like, what, 7 feet of the camera, maybe, with Peter behind it, which is terrifying. Terrifying. You're such a jerk. That's what happens when you make gross faces like that. He's twice your size. He's gonna sit on you. Don't bite him in the butt. This is what I do with this. I'm trying to train this. Because not only is he a paso, so he's bred to be insane, he also does this for fun. And he is relentless, and he will never give up. He's the most stubborn animal I have ever met in my entire life. And it's a damn good thing he's cute, because he is stinking adorable.